Hello, this is Brian. I just turned on the TV and there was some information going on about the meeting. I think it's in Davos, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum, and they're talking about global warming and things and environmentalism. Now, I remember about 35 years ago, I took a little trip up to Vancouver Island, and I saw a a billboard on the way up. It said, "Visit beautiful British Columbia." And on that billboard was just, for as far as the eye could see, was the trees cut down. It was like somebody was trying to make a point. Maybe there's not enough old growth left or too many trees are being cut. So it was amazing, that's clear cutting to its max. I know it takes a little more effort, especially on hills, to do a zigzag or select trees. It would increase the price of things. But degradation is degradation. It's you want to look after the kids, then you try to not clear cut quite so grossly, especially on steep slopes. This picture was pretty flat, as far as the eye could see. Now, since Europe is needing energy, they're even grinding up trees there in British Columbia, making them into pellets and shipping them over there so people can heat their homes. Well, you can only is every time the forest is cut, they grow back like bean poles. Bean poles are susceptible to fire. They grow back with more underbrush. Underbrush is more susceptible to fire. So it's not just global warming. But energy matters. I know. And then I heard Al Gore say, oh, yeah, the renewables are more economic and cost less than, like natural gas. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that because I know the governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he put up a big solar tower with the mirrors facing, and everybody was like, hey, this is going to help out. And to a point it did, except that the wind blows and the dust and the mirrors get dirty, they get broken, things hit them. And then the tower, where it gets heated up, well, the cloud comes. Oh, we can't just let the turbine slow down. We better have the natural gas keep that thing fired, because natural gas does a hell of a good job. And so to say that, it's cheaper and more economically feasible to have solar, well, I think it's a great idea to have our eggs in more baskets than just one or two. Now, the thing is, the concentration of energy with fossil fuel is so far greater than any other means. I mean, that if we didn't have it, we'd only be able to support about 3% of the population. What are the rest of the 97% going to do? Kill each other for food in the grocery store. Trucks are relying on fossil fuel. Farm equipment's relying on fossil fuel. Irrigation pumps. The electric grid is mostly supported by fossil fuel. The solar panels require coal to make a solar panel. So here we are. Why are we don't have more efficiency? The American Indians, when they killed a buffalo, they used everything from the hide, the bone, the meat. The bladders could be used to hold, cleaned out and used to hold liquids and things. So efficiency matters. So yeah, I think we do need to diversify. But the thing is, what we have and what we're using right now needs to be used more efficiently. And we should use the cleanest fossil fuel we can, not tar sand from Canada. That's what the XL pipeline is going to pump. It probably has to be heated up, just like the ships that move things from China. You have to heat the pipes up because the bunker fuel is so tarry and tacky and so disgusting. So why do you want to use the most disgusting? And yes, it takes more. We don't have the gushers here on the land. We have some maybe 5,000 feet deep in the Gulf of Mexico, which is harder to get. You got to go to the Beaufort Sea in Alaska and get the methane hydrate, the clean energy. So here we are not trying to use the cleanest because it's easier to get the stuff that's more abundant and disgustingly dirty. That's why they made such a cheap pipeline that leaks, because they need the volume, because it's not, they're not going to do a good job. It affects their bottom line. So the crap that takes 3 times the processing, and adding chemicals and steam injection, and tar sand requires very much more processing, and the end result is garbage. So you don't end up with, and then it's dirty to refine. So now you end up with less of an end product that's any good. So naturally, you're going to cut your costs on your pipeline. Doing things right matters. And the methane hydrate was going to be one of our last large clean resources. And why? And nobody at this Davos is talking about using carbon dioxide as a resource. Trees use carbon dioxide as a resource. Now, we built atomic bombs in the 40s. We went to the moon in the late 1969. So is it that impossible to use carbon dioxide as a resource? I think we can use it in amplified photosynthesis, a technique to create wood products. So I don't understand what's going on. Why are we making forests, they call it renewable, by making it into pellets and burning? That's not as concentrated a form of energy as, other petroleum products. I think petroleum products, we should use the cleanest ones that are left and take the effort to get the cleanest ones that are left. And then if it's, and natural gas is the cleanest, and the exhaust gas from the natural gas needs to be funneled into a place like living solar panels in a big greenhouse that can convert at a more rapid rate of the using photosynthesis, a natural thing that we have that we can copy from nature and amplify, and then produce wood products. So I think we need to use, still rely on some fossil fuels, but we need to use the cleanest ones. And we also need to not rely on stuff 10,000 miles away, so that bunker fueled ships that destroy the cleanliness of the air and settle down and choke the fish out. That's a big thing. The jets, people still want to travel, but we don't need, we can make our own products here. We can have more stuff made closer to home. And that would just diversify people's ability to have the knowledge to do different things. Like I said in one of my videos, if you cut the leg off a starfish, it grows back. Because if you produce more locally, you're more capable of handling. You're not so dependent on something being trucked for 300 to 500 miles away. If there's a little bit of a cutback in how the trucks get here, and why can't we make a few things more closer to home? We won't require as much energy. If you have a truck, why can't you just drop the top down so you don't push so much wind? Heck, I've seen the trailer tails. Most of the people don't even use them. It's to relaminate airflow behind and reduce the drag and the low pressure area behind semi. So we have to think. All of us need to start figuring out ways to do more here. Like we can get the homeless building, growing victory gardens, and that would supplement, the expense of getting them, off the streets, to give them something to do. I think productivity matters, but the environment matters too. And I don't think we do need rules, like a worldwide conservation corps, but not the type of rules that are going to just fill the people's pockets. Like if somebody says, "Oh, this is renewable," and so then they get a big grant, and then instead of what they're renewable is biofuel and burning forests for energy, that's a lie. So liars that are greasing their palms, acting like it's just a big ecological landfall, it's ridiculous. It has to be real, and we have to reduce what we're using. We have to reuse bottles. We can't just throw them into the trash. And we need containers to go to the store that we can fill up instead of just this disposable crap. We can't just be convenience and disposable driven. Like I said, the American Indians used every part of the buffalo. And we need to reduce that waste and be conscious. And we have to have a infrastructure for ultralight vehicles for short runs. And across the board, I think we can cut back on fossil fuel. But just as if it was gone today, the renewables, which like I said, a panel requires coal. Solar panel requires coal just to manufacture it. To melt the copper and steel to support the grid requires the heat. You're not going to have a focused light melt enough metal in 10,000 years to make that kind of a grid. So we're still dependent on fossil fuel. Let's use it the way the Indians used the buffalo. Every little bit matters, and then try not to use the nasty stuff and utilize the carbon dioxide exhaust gases, and we'll be a lot better off, because now we've extended by maybe a couple hundred years for the world to recuperate from us pouring this shit in the air and us not using as much. Then we have the time to develop other means of energy. But fossil fuels allowed us to have well over 10 times, how about 30 or 40 times the amount of people that can survive, because we use fossil fuel. You cut it off, and the renewables were going, whoa, they're not doing as much as we thought they were going to do. So let's conserve on what we use and be more efficient all around. I think we can do that. Thanks for your time. Bye.